All right, let's talk about last minute set changes. This is something that I'm sure we've all experienced. I've experienced it many, many times. And there are a lot of people who handle it very, very poorly. I've been around lots of people, and I'm sure at one point I did too. And over the years, I've kind of learned how to handle it and what to do. So I'm going to talk about that today. Now, a last minute set change could be anything from let's change the order of the tunes, move the fourth song to be the second song or something like that. Or it could be something more extreme, like let's change the whole arrangement of the tune and let's do it in a different key and a different time signature and whatever, changing anything or, a change of venue or a change, any sort of thing. But I think the way that you don't handle it is you don't be frustrated or angry or anything like that, because if you do, you're just sending a really bad message and they probably won't hire you again, because now you've built that reputation that whenever there's something like that you get really angry. And I've been around so many people who do get kind of frustrated or even angry, and it's not fun for me at all. And I'm sure at one point I was the same way, especially when I was first getting started. I'm sure I had those moments, but you just don't do that, because again, it just sends a really bad message. You're not, if you're angry like that, then why would anybody hire you? I mean, to be totally honest, I would not hire somebody who is like that. So I think that's the thing that you don't do. So what are the things that you can do? And I think that depends on the situation. Is it a change of venue? Then maybe you can just say, well, I'll be a little bit late to the gig, because and that's not something that you can control. It's like, well, they sent the wrong information. We're actually on the other side of town. Thankfully that has not happened to me that many times. It's happened maybe once or twice, over the last couple of years. But it's just something that you go over to the other venue and you drive safely and you don't speed, and you just say, you know what, I'm going to be late, and they will understand, because at least I hope they will, because that's actually on them. Now, the other situation you could be in that I've been in many, many times is with a singer or with a horn player or somebody, and they want to change the key of the song because it's better in their range. Now, that is something that, like I said, that happens very, very often. And I think the thing that you have to do is just roll with it. If it's a really hard tune or something that you're unfamiliar with, or maybe you're more of a beginner jazz piano player or whoever, and you are only used to playing that tune in one particular key, then I think you just play it in the other key, and then you do the best you can. You can outline very simple phrases, and if you're just piano and vocals, you can just play a bass note or something like that and follow the lead sheet, and not do anything super, super complicated. And you might not even take a solo. You're just there because the singer or the horn player wants to do it in a different key, and it fits better for them. And since they're the person who is playing the melody and doing all of that stuff, then that's really, really important. You want to make it easy for them. Now, something to practice that's very, very important. It doesn't matter if you play jazz or if you play rock or whatever. You just have to know how to play and improvise in all of the keys. And that's something that took me years and years of consistent practice to be able to do. And there are still some keys, like the key of A, that I still feel a little bit uncomfortable in, even after 10 years of playing professionally. And so I think it just takes a lot of practice, but it's so important. Now, I know a tenor sax player moved to town a few years ago, and he is just an excellent player, one of the best musicians I have the fortune of playing with pretty regularly, and he will sometimes, if he's with a good rhythm section, if he's with me and a bass player and a drummer, he will call tunes in just the weirdest keys, and I actually love it. It's so much fun. He called rhythm changes in A once, he called Cherokee in B once, Mercy, Mercy, Mercy in the key of C sharp, things like that. And it's so much fun. And it's one of those situations where it's like, I'm really glad that I know how to improvise in all these different keys, because I can play with him and I'm really comfortable doing it. And then now I built up this reputation with him where it's like, we can actually do this. And if we're the same rhythm section, on a different gig, then we can do it again, And so I think it's just, I really have a lot of fun with it. I totally understand how it can be very, very intimidating, but it's just good practice. You never know if you'll run into a tenor sax player like that, just an absolutely amazing player, and I'm just so fortunate to be able to play with him on a regular basis. But anyway, that's a really great example of a situation like that. Of course, you have singers, I don't mean this in a bad way whatsoever, but they are, commonly will call a tune in a different key that fits their range better. And so, that's a situation I described earlier, and you just have to do it. And so that's why when I'm playing with a singer, my expectations are like, I don't know what's going to happen because I don't know what key we're actually going to play the tune in. Maybe they'll have a set list, but some singers will have a set list and then they change the key. And so you just want to be prepared for those sorts of situations, and it could be, any key. And this also ties back to my video about playing in different spaces, because if you watch that, my story about the CEO's birthday party, and we had a 2-hour set. I was playing with the singer, and then I played an extra hour and a half because they wanted me to keep going, and the singer was like, well, I'm all out of material, so she just actually went and sat down at one of the tables, and then I went up and played and did some ridiculous things. So if you want to see the full story behind that, you can watch that video. But I think that actually serves as a really excellent example, because just reading the room and reading the space and the what is actually happening can totally transform how the set goes. Or you may even say, I'm going to totally change the feel of this tune. We were originally going to do it as a ballad, and we're going to do it as a bossa, or vice versa. However, it works. So I just think that's that's another thing to keep in mind, is these last minute changes can happen, in any space and for any reason at any time. Now, I can't speak for classical music whatsoever, because I've only performed classical music a handful of times. So if there are any classical folks watching this video, please comment down below on a story or something where you've had a last minute change in your show. I would be really, really interested to know about those sorts of situations in that space, because I would imagine it would be very, very challenging, especially since all of that music is, a lot of it's just all written out, and it would be very, very difficult to have any sort of fluctuation whatsoever. So any classical folks, leave a comment. I'd love to know your experiences. So that pretty much wraps up this video. This video, pretty brief, but very important. I feel like, it's something that we all experience, and it's something that if you haven't experienced it, you certainly will. And it's just something that you have to prepare for. So if there are any other similar videos you'd like to see, please comment down below with your suggestions, and I will get to them. And so with that, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video, share the video. I have new videos coming out every Thursday now. I have dropped Tuesday videos for the time being because I'm about to go back to school, and then although I have a backlog of recorded videos, I don't have quite enough to make it through the term. And so that's primarily why I'm doing just Thursdays, but they will come out at 9 a.m. Just like before. So keep an eye out for those videos. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer your questions. And so with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.